Hi, I'm Chetan. Welcome to another episode of Geek Shop. With me again is Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
So, Chris, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about your new book.
This one?
That book, Maneater.
Yes. Now, unfortunately, Chris doesn't have a copy yet because Chris is in an Asian country where you can't order this book yet. So,
I cannot get this book at where I live.
Yeah, you can't order it. So when I see him he's coming to our country again in end of August. So he'll be getting a copy of it. So this is my new book. It's called Maneater, and it's 100.
So I've got questions for you about this book.
Yes.
So where does the title Maneater come from?
Maneater, first of all, I don't want to give it away. Well, I will give it away now. All of our titles are based, our story titles are based on song titles. And Maneater, the reason I chose Maneater is it's a Hall & Oates song. So for those of you younger than us and don't know who Hall & Oates are, that's where this song's from. I think there's a newer artist that have that song, but hey, we're old school and we're going with the original good songs.
Yep, and we'll have a link to the video below,
yes,
so you can
at
hear
the bottom.
Song.
So Maneater is reason I called it Maneaters. Our main character here is Madam 666. She's the villain in the book, and she wants revenge, and she basically eats the hearts of the living beings.
Okay, and this is the first appearance of Madame 666?
Technically, no.
Okay.
Because last year at a local arts festival and music festival, I did a free giveaway. And in that giveaway, the stories that appear in here, I did a 12-page story, pages from this book, and they were put in that. So technically, that's the first appearance. So if you did get a free copy of that, that's a collector's item.
So did you know what you were going to do when you made that small book and you were sort of working on this, or is this?
Yes,
did that inspire it?
This was planned out. The story was planned out over to certain family delays and all that stuff. It was planned out about almost a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Long time. And what happened was, this is going back about 2-3 years ago. I did sketches for Madam 666, and just came up with an idea for a name and drew. Character idea for her was here. I'll show you an image, and I'll post it up on a thing. Idea for her was she has the Day of the Dead facial makeup and everything, but with a 1920s style fashion and hairdo and that type of thinking. So she, and what happened was I did the sketches for her. So then I put it away and didn't think about it. I had the first couple of story ideas for what I wanted to do, never went with it. And then I was talking to Patrick Potler, a friend of ours, who's a very amazing creative artist. So I said to Patrick, Patrick, can you help me out, with this character? Can you put your touches on it? And he did an amazing job on what I sent him and what he did. He did an amazing job.
Cool. And so as far as how you created this book, because Tic Toc Tom is a really unique creative process in that it's not just like you write a story, you draw a story. There's multiple artists involved, there's like collaboration involved, there's different writers, everything like that. So what was the process for this particular comic?
So this one, I took a different approach on it. What I did was, if this goes back to our previous episode, talk about Jim Shooter. I took kind of like his approach where I took more control on where the story goes and everything. So, because I had my set idea, I have my start, middle, and an end for this story. So, but what happened was I plotted out some of the parts and, I drew a couple of issues. Tom Yo drew a couple of issues, Derek Barton and Massimo Sabadin, and well, you helped me write one or two issues. So what happened was I had an overall guideline, and I said, for example, like your story, you contributed. I said, this is what's happened previously in the issues. Here's what I want you, what, do you have any ideas in mind? So basically, I had an overall plot which I sent to everyone, saying, this is breakdown of parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. for this book, and each writer took it and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this part of the story now," and it worked out amazing. It was like, yes, I did have to put my editorial hat on and say, "Hey, you know, don't go in this direction, don't go in that direction," but overall, no issues.
That's cool. I think by now a lot of the people working with you, and myself included, sort of know what you want. Like, I mean, and it's to it, and I mean that in a good way. It's like we sort of have an idea of like where this goes. It's not like these characters are brand new to us. I mean, Madame 666 was new to everybody really involved, other than the preview. So we really didn't have much of a knowledge of her necessarily. But in general, like we know who the other characters are. So writing for them is kind of easy because they, they've been around so long. We've already read so many stories with them that we understand. Like we know when Iggy's going to do a certain action. We know that Stinky's going to be by the box. Like there's no like grand crazy ideas that we have to like. It's easy. Like I said, it's almost easy because the characters are so well established that except for the new character, we already know where it's going to go, and so it's just a question of sort of how do we connect those wires in our brain. So I think it works. So I think it was easy to figure out, and that's I think why you didn't have to like crack your whip too much.
No, overall, I mean, it's after working all this time with a lot of creators, writers, and artists who have worked on the book. I've had, overall very good experience. It's like, I mean, there's glitches here and there, but overall it's been very good, and nowhere where I have to come in and say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, type of a situation. But with this one, because I had a set story in mind, I want, hate to say it, it's just like I wanted more control on it. And
Yeah.
this book, this is part one, it's 168 pages. So, I mean, if we could do 168 pages and still continue it, that means we're having fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we none of us. I don't think any of us hate you now, so that's you're doing well.
That's a good sign. Comment if you do, please.
Yes, in fact, always comment if you hate one of us. That's important.
Yes. And
So-
for the art, and I'm not saying it because it's my book. For my art, personally, I'm saying it's some of the best work I've done in a long time. It's like really been, not saying the other work I haven't done. This spent a lot of time on, and everyone, Tomio, Derek, Massimo, Peter, everyone has put a lot of effort into this book.
That's awesome. I think the Tic Toc Tom needed it, like, because the style before for stories was always just this general theme, like gorillas or like say what, or like there's all these sort of like very vague sort of things that you could just kind of go anywhere. So I think it needed a little bit of a, okay, let's not go vague anymore. Let's go specific to an idea, to a plot, and then
Yes.
work that in. And I think the comic needed that, because I think I like the other stories. I love the gorilla issue. That was like one of my favorite things to forever. But it's like, I think that some of the stories got way off, and that was good. But to have it continue that way, it could just turn into something that was so vague that you wouldn't even understand what was going on.
And that's why with this book, like I said, I had this idea in my head for a few years now, and just like, when do I do this? When do I do this? And when I started planning that out, and I think what kickstarted me into doing it was when Patrick showed me his sketches for the character, and it's like, wow, now I really want to go full force with this. And that's when I started plotting it out, and it was just like, and it was a good working experience also. And then And here's another thing where I got you as writing a couple of issues, and then I got his handle on Instagram is Derek the Destroyer. So please look him up. Very good writer. So Derek suggested some ideas, and my head just opened. Brain just exploded. It's going, wow. It's it. If Derek was credit to Derek. If Derek was not involved in this, I don't know if some of the stories in here would be in here, because he gave us some ideas that, even for the second book, it's like we could do a 500-page book.
So you have a second idea, sort of second book worked out in your brain already?
Yeah. It's already in the
And
works.
did you have that? Did you have that originally? Like, was it like, okay, one book and maybe I'm done, or was it always, okay, this is going to be 2 books?
Well, originally the idea was supposed to be one book, start, middle, and end. So then, as we started drawing it and creating the book, I realized, the storyline, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to cram everything into one book. Let's do a good story, and if it takes 2 books, 3 books, let's do that.
What's the plan at this point? Is it just 2 books, or are you thinking it might even go to 3?
Right now it's 2 books. Right now we have started on the second book. Plots and story has been written for 7 parts now. So about 70 pages have been written, and most of it is being drawn now. So
Okay.
the plan is by, March, April, we should have second book all ready to go.
And then you think there'll be a 3rd book?
Knowing how I'm having fun with this book and what Derek is doing and with your help, I think we could do a 3rd book.
Okay.
Come on, if we could do one book, and which originally was planned for one shot, and we did 168 pages and did amazing story and art in it, I think we could tell more stories.
Okay. As long as you don't go too far off the...
No. And here's the thing, some of the characters that, example, like Derek has introduced in the book, side characters and things, even that, we have like Tom Yo saying, hey, we should, this character's interesting, we should do more with him. Like there's a character called Sneaky Pete. He's a talking rat. And, okay, it might sound odd, but in our book, everything's possible. So, and even that character Bro, which is we'll put a picture of Bro here. There's been talk about doing more things with him.
Yeah. So it has potential to keep going and everything like that. Would you say that Madame 666 is the best villain you've ever had for Tic Toc Tom?
That's the only villain we've had, basically, as a main arch enemy. I mean, we've had villains like Maneater and other things, but she's the major arch nemesis that we've had. And one thing I will have to say is, when I posted images of her a while back on Instagram and social media, everyone likes her. So, I've gotten comments from people saying, "Hey, that's a great character," this and that. So, it's working.
Yeah, I think the important thing is, like, a strong villain is like crucially important to a comic book.
Well, the thing is, because what you said earlier, with our books, it would be like, hey, we're going to do a theme on gorillas. But we've never said, set plot or set ideas, they fight this character or whatever. And I think that's what worked with this book was, had a set theme and saying, this is the main villain, and let's do a story on this.
Yeah. A little bit of that Jim Shooter cracking the whip.
Yes, that's it. Yes. And it worked. I mean, overall it worked because for me as, trying to, put the book together and stuff like that, I did a plot layout of, this is what's going to happen from start to here and that to a certain point. And hate to say it, when you go for that type of creative process, it was a good experiment, and it worked. Okay, this is the free giveaway that we did during the. We gave it away at a local arts music festival, and printed a couple of hundred copies of these books. So it was black and white, and we'll post some pictures of it here. If anyone's interested in this book, let me know. Message me directly or message here. I do have a few copies left, so limited stock.
Cool, and I'm hoping I'm getting one too.
No, we're sold out.
How about this? If you watch this show and you buy a copy of Maneater, just let them know, and we'll make sure you get a copy of that as well.
Yes, I'll try my best. Like I said, I have limited copies left now, so
First come, first serve.
But yes, now one thing I will say about the book is it just something that started off as a simple idea, just rolled and became a bigger idea.
Yeah, that's again, that's the style of Tic Toc Tom is very much that. Like, as I've said in the past too, it's like no idea gets left behind, no idea is forgotten. Like if there's a good idea, you jump on it and you use it instead of sort of being like, well, that might not work. It's like, well, no, let's see how this will work.
Let's see how it works. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
that could be a good thing or a bad thing, because I've never said no to any. I mean, yes, I haven't said no, but idea-wise, I'm willing to. Someone says, "Hey, I want to do a story about a unicorn." Sure, do it.
Yeah. For sure. And
one of the guys I met at a festival, he came by our stand and he goes, "You guys don't do small books, do you?" I go, "But we have a lot of good stories to tell. That's why we do 168-page books."
I know, it's crazy. It's funny because I'm putting together Blue Orchid Chapter 3 right now, and I'm also doing eventually I'm putting out a full compilation of all the chapters together, or at least the first 4 chapters I'm putting together. And I just crossed the 100-page mark, and I was so proud of myself. And then you're like, "Oh yeah, in 6 months we did this 168 page." I'm like, oh.
No, but you know what? Again, it's one thing working with more than if I was doing it by myself, I probably would have said stop at this point and just said, "You know what? I told my story."
Yep.
But then when I work with someone like you, and who comes up and says, "Hey, try this. How about this?" And something that I didn't even think about, now it opens my mind and said, "Hey, I want to go in this direction and try telling this story now."
Yeah.
Or tell a side story.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens where, when you get a bunch of creative minds together, they're just going to, throw, ideas at each other and say, "Hey, let's do this, let's do that." And that's one thing I would say with Tic Toc Tom is, it's been amazing working with all of you guys like that.
You make it easy just because, although sometimes I'll be honest, I suggest things or will write an idea and you'll be like, "That's great." And I'm like, "No, you mean that's it? No change? What?" Like you almost expect, it's almost like jumping out of a plane without a parachute or something like that. You're like, "What the hell?" Like I'm so used to, particularly, when I was working in animation, it's like, "Well, how about this?" And, by the time you saw it, it was nothing like what you expected it to be. But you're sort of like...
But see, my thinking is you're going to jump out of a plane. Is he going to go splat on the ground, or is he going to hit a tree if he's going to be saved? I want to see what the options are. I don't want to just say, he's going to die. I just want to see what the other options are.
You might hit a whale flying through the air. And
yeah, that's it. There you go. Yeah, hitchhikers. So but again, it's. I think that's the fun part of this, because then one great thing about working with all these creative people is there's so much creativity going on.
Yeah.
And like I said, for story wise, Derek the Destroyer, he has so many great ideas.
Yeah.
And just when when we're texting back and forth, what about this? What about that? And it's like, okay, then I have to hold back and say no, because I can't do another 500-page book. I want to, but it's like how much more can we go? And what the next book? It's like like I said, we're at almost 70 pages into it, and going. At what point do I say let's start resolving this story?
Yeah. Do you have a resolution in mind?
Yes.
So there'll be a certain point when all of a sudden
But
the
that I'm
story
not
will just
gonna-
turn a direction and that's it.
Yes. Well, the first two parts of the book will kind of give away what's going to happen at the end. So I'm not saying much more on that, because when you read the story, hopefully the story makes sense and makes the readers want to say, "Hey, I want to read. I want to read the second book."
Yeah.
So But this is one of our best books. I have to say, the time and effort we put into writing, drawing it, it's been the book took longer than longer than it should have to come out, but we just had other issues and stuff like that. But overall, it's an amazing book.
It's awesome. I think people should go buy it right now. We'll have a link below.
Yes.
And
if you buy and if you do buy it directly from, we'll see. I'll show you samples. If you buy it directly from me or from Rolls Collide in Oshawa, you will get free sticker sheet. And Chris has done a sticker on this.
I think I have, yes.
And yes, and some of the books will have random sketches, original art in them.
Wow, that's quite awesome.
So, yeah, and so a lot of goodies for that. And we will be at the Conversions Festival in Oshawa, Ontario, later in September of this year. So if anyone's around, please, in Ontario, Toronto area, GTA area, we will be there. So we will have the books there, and a lot of the creative people will be there, and you get your books signed, and you get a lot of free sketches from all of us.
Always.
Always.
So I think I'm looking forward to the book. I think we can wrap this episode up, and we'll definitely we'll talk about. I think we should talk about the process of your next one as you're going through it a little bit as well. We'll have a few episodes in the future that talk about the next issue.
Yes, we will do a detailed start, middle, and end of how we create the book.
Exactly. So you can join up and pick up the first issue, and you learn about the second issue as it's being made.
Well, thank you for watching our episode, and we'll see you next time.